Against Luke Blackledge. He had that British title win against Daryl Williams, where he had to negotiate a bout with a dislocated shoulder. It was a contentious decision. And now here he is tonight, number 2 with the WBO, and looking to elevate himself into position of world title challenger.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Manchester Arena, live on Sky Sports and DAZN, Eddie Hearn, in association with Team Sauerland and Matchroom Boxing, is proud to present a special super middleweight title attraction. Sponsored by William Hill, StubHub, Wow Hydrate, and JD Sports. This bout is sanctioned under the auspices of the British Boxing Board of Control. The steward in charge is Mr. Robin Smith, and the World Boxing Organization. The president, Francisco Paco Valcárcel. The supervisor is John Candelar. Introducing your 3 judges scoring this title contest from ringside. From Hungary, Ferenc Budai. From the United Kingdom, Steve Gray. And from Italy, Matteo Montella Dairola. Your timekeeper from UK is Chris O'Connor, and at the sound of the bell, your 3rd man in the ring, also from the United Kingdom, A-star referee, Mr. Phil Edwards. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 12 rounds of boxing scheduled for the WBO International Super Middleweight Championship. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, standing with his head trainer, Chris Carden. He wears the black and white. He scaled 11 stone, 13 pounds, 8 ounces. His professional record, 24 victories, only 1 defeat. He has 17 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of the Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia, and ranked number 1 in the world on the WBO, here is the reigning WBO Asian Super Middleweight Champion, Rohan No Mercy Murdoch. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands with his head trainer, Paul Mann. He wears the white with the green trim. He scaled at already 11 stone, 13 pounds, 2 ounces. His professional record, a perfect one. 18 fights, 18 victories, 12 of them coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Derby, England, here is the former British Super Middleweight Champion, ranked number 2 in the world on the WBO. Ladies and gentlemen, Zach Parker.
Gentlemen, you've had your instructions in the dressing room. You know what I expect of you both. Follow my instructions at all times, keep quiet. Follow my instructions at all times, defend yourselves at all times. Touch gloves, good luck.
So just to pick up on one thing there, David Diamante describing this as being for the WBO International, which is absolutely correct. The WBO haven't officially sanctioned this as a final eliminator due, I believe, to some form of clerical problem. I'm not sure exactly where the fault lay, but it's number 1 against number 2, and they need to retrospectively sign this off, because whoever wins this fight has got to be made mandatory challenger for the WBO Super Middleweight title, which is currently, of course, held by Billy Joe Saunders, who we expect to see on May the 2nd against Canelo. So there's a lot at stake for these two.
Already early on, Murdoch trying to rough Parker up on the inside. He's stuck his shoulder in his face. He's trying to stick his forearm in there.
Well, that's what they're going to try and do. I've been speaking to the Murdoch team a little bit over the last couple of days, and their plan is to get tight, to get close. They feel that Parker struggles a little bit close up. Left hand to the body there from Murdoch, as Parker just slipped away to his right.
Yeah, I think it's very clear early on that Murdoch wants to make this a physical fight. He wants to impose his physical strength, impose his will, keep it at close quarters where, you know, Zach Parker, very good at long range, clever, switches as well.
The referee just saying to them, work inside. And then gets in and breaks them. Parker was right on top of Murdoch, who physically, I was going to say is the bigger of the two, but actually when you look at them in there, he was at the weigh-in yesterday, but Parker has put some weight on since then. He's got big, wide, rangy shoulders, Zach Parker, and these two in very, very good nick. Parker finding good distance there, looking for the uppercut, didn't quite land it.
Yeah, very broad at the shoulders, Parker, and got long arms too, so he's good rangy boxer, trying to use that jab.
Box back in May, Parker on the Taylor-Baranchik undercard. Josh Taylor's here, actually, far side of the ring, just over by the neutral corner, and he got a stoppage win then against no particular opposition. Good pedigree, though. His dad was a professional fighter, so he was brought up with it young. And the team have an awful lot of belief in him. He can switch between stances, as you saw there. He did have that problem against Williams, though, with a dislocated shoulder. And that was the left. There's not been any issues with it since. Murdoch himself broke a jaw, actually, in a motorcycle accident at the back end of 2016, which cost him an appearance on a couple of big cards. That's always going to be a worry. It was a bad one too, but that's healed up also. So both of them not without their scars.
Yeah, cage opening round, but I think Parker's probably edging it with the straight shots and the jab.
He's always willing to give an interview all the way during fight week, which can be pretty draining for fighters, particularly after the weigh-in. You want to just get off and replenish and rehydrate. He's always happy to talk, and that's what you need. That, in a way, is one of the things that, allied with a lot of ability, can make you an attractive main event fighter. You have to sell it, you have to sell yourself, and Murdoch looking to get busy at the start of the round here. And just that kind of range there, and he got caught at, where Parker just clubbed him a bit with that right hand. That's where he can't be.
Yeah, and I think Parker landed some good jabs to the body and letting those right uppercut and left uppercuts into the pit of the stomach, which I think is going to be crucial here, because it was clear in the first round that Murdoch's going to try and out-hustle Parker, rough him up on the inside. So it's key that Parker doesn't allow him to bully him up close, that he steeps him, hurts him to the body, keeps putting those shots into the body, and that'll keep Murdoch guessing.
Edwards eventually just getting in there and pushing the two of them apart, and he just steps in there, Murdoch, and looks for the left hand to the body.
Yeah. That's good work from Parker on the inside there, landed two body shots, a nice couple of hooks upstairs too. Again there, Murdoch trying to stick the shoulder in.
Murdoch onto the front foot, quickly back in front of Parker. He almost landed a fight with Andre Ward on the Cotto Canelo card back in late 2015, Murdoch, but it wasn't sanctioned by the Nevada Commission in the end. There was a left hand from Parker about 10 seconds ago. I just wondered if it just hurt him a bit. He just seemed to just yield, just wilt a fraction there, Murdoch, but if it did, then he's shaking it off.
Nice upper body movement there from Parker, and then he puts two good body shots in as well.
Well, Parker just relaxed there slightly. I think he thought the referee was going to tell them to break, and then he didn't, and Murdoch went back to work. You've got to be careful, protect yourself at all times, as the rule of the ring goes. Murdoch just looking to try and get on the jab. He does keep those hands quite low, and as they both throw lead left hands, neither one really landed.
Yeah, really not between there's not a lot between them at this stage. Parker maybe just landing a few more jabs and a couple of good body shots. Maybe slightly giving him the edge, but very close.
Anthony Fowler, short-lived though it was, but there's plenty of others dotted around. Luke Campbell I've seen here as well. And it's always a good sign when you see pros coming to a show. Good chopping down right hand there from Murdoch. Decent start to the round for him. Just managed to catch Parker on the end of the jab a touch.
Yeah, just didn't quite land that right hand counter. Sorry, he was, he touched the jab there. Parker tried to jab back. He slipped outside it and didn't quite time the distance correctly with the right hand. But you could see what Murdoch was trying to do there.
The one defeat for Murdoch came back in his third fight when he was just 18. He was in with a 1-0 fighter who had achieved a lot as a kickboxer, so it was a rough, tough kind of fight to have that early, and it's the sort of defeat that I think he would have learned a lot from. Certainly didn't do him any damage. Parker, of course, undefeated.
Good lead left hook there, just feinted the jab, turned it into a long lead left hook. Good work from Parker. Again, landed a couple of nice short right hooks there and a good uppercuts to the body as well.
He just found enough room for the left-hand Parker, but that was a good straight left there from Murdoch, but Parker gets through with a couple of jabs and then just catches him round the side of the head with the right hand, and Murdoch just holding his feet, ushering him in. Good solid right hand from him to the side of the head, but although this might be more the kind of fight that Murdoch beforehand would have felt that he would want, now that it's happening, is Parker so far at this stage he's having the better of it.
Yeah, he's standing his ground and he's matching him. He's actually having the better of this exchange on the inside. It was Murdoch who's called this far, and he's the one who wants it up close and personal, but Parker actually having the better of the action here.
He needs to be careful of that, Parker. Again, he's just relaxed there. He's feeling that the referee is going to call break, and Murdoch just gives him a little shoulder to make a bit of room and then hits him. Good jabs there from Parker.
Yeah, caught with a jab there, but generally his head movement's pretty good too. Parker is just pulling out of range and he's slipping and dipping and bending at the knees, getting out of the way of the shots.
It's the final 30 seconds of round 3.
You can see both men thinking in there, trying to lure the other one into making a mistake.
Slightly slow jab there from Parker. Murdoch immediately looked to try and counter it.
Yeah, and again, decent, good upper body movement from Parker, just slipping and dipping underneath the shots of Murdoch.
Double jab as well, up and down.
Harold Johnson and Paul Mann in the corner there to take care of Zach Parker. Nice double jab that got through. But again, there's not much in this, as you said in that second round, Matt. It seems from where we are that Parker's just slightly having the edge here, just slightly getting the better of it, but Murdoch is getting on the front foot. He's looking to bring some heat, bring some pressure. He has had some success.
Yeah, there's really not a lot in these rounds, but I feel that the extra bit of quality is coming from Parker. Better upper body movement, and his defenses are better. His hands are nice and high, and he's slipping and sliding and getting underneath these shots. His body works good, particularly the right uppercut into the pit of the stomach from Parker. So, I've given him the first 3 rounds, but they're close rounds. So, it's a good fight. They're well matched. You can see a lot of thinking going on in there.
Good lead left hook there from Parker, but Murdoch again started the round well, threw a couple of jabs, got through with the right hand, just rubbing the head in, and there's some damage underneath the right eye there of Parker, just a bit of marking up. They had the end swell out in between rounds. A bit of cold steel clamped to his face, just trying to reduce that. More into the orthodox stance in this round so far, and again that lead left hand gets through, and again, so maybe that's something they've seen. The uppercut there just takes the wind out of Murdoch's sails there briefly. Big right hand there, back though from Murdoch, and well, this is catching fire midway through round 4.
Yeah, good exchange there. Both men landed big shots. Parker landed some good left hooks, but Murdoch landed 2 hard right hands.
And I think Parker has come out the worst of that exchange, actually. I think he's buying a little bit of time here, and Murdoch maybe doesn't quite realise it. Good left hand there from Murdoch. I think he's got an opportunity here, possibly the Australian, to step on him a bit.
Yeah, good left hook there from Murdoch. Just Murdoch leaned in as if to throw the jab and just turned the jab into a left hook. And, good body shot there, going up and down left hook, head and body.
Well, Murdoch just trying to keep that head on the move, ushers him in again into the final minute of round 4.
His best round of the fight so far by far. Murdoch is looking good here.
Switching southpaw himself there briefly. And looking for the jab. And Parker, since that burst in the middle of the round, has just gone a little bit gun-shy. Murdoch straight down the middle again there with the right hand. I don't think that quite reached.
Again, yeah, I think Murdoch certainly made Parker think a little bit here, certainly got his respect. You can see his own confidence now is growing.
Good double jab there from Murdoch, and Parker just trying to keep that head on the move. And there the jab gets through once more. Sticking the tongue out there, Murdoch. He's certainly buoyed with confidence by what's happened in this round. It hasn't been a huge round win for him, but he's won the round and he's on the board, at least with us. And I think he did do a little bit of damage to Parker,
who lands 2 nice shots on the bell.
But it's a good fight. It's a good fight to watch.
All right. Switched on.
Let's have a look at some of the action from it. And it really kind of lit up just at the start of the second minute. He switched into the orthodox stance and he landed that lead left hook a couple of times.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good lead left hook from Parker, but then Murdoch comes back with a couple of hard right hands. Again, measured him with the jab, landed a hard right hand. And I think he certainly felt that one, Parker, because he slowed down a little bit after that, and Murdoch got quite busy. He was landing some good jabs, sorry. His confidence was growing during the round. Certainly his best round of the fight. I thought Murdoch won that round, a clear round for him. And Parker now has to make some adjustments here.
And there's that damage under the eye that I was talking about. It doesn't seem like
Round 5.
a problem, really. It's not going to obscure his vision anyway. So into round 5. So the early rounds in the books, negotiated by both of these. Up close, just locking onto each other. No real room to manoeuvre there, so the referee gets involved.
Murdoch looking for that right hand over the top of the jab of Parker, and Parker's jab has been good. It's been good to the head, it's been good to the body. He goes up and down with it, he mixes it up, and every now and then he'll feint the jab and throw that lead left hook, and that's been a good shot for Parker.
There's a nice 1-2 from Murdoch just before that. It's always fascinating watching fights to see how the momentum can just ebb and flow, and a good right hand again there from Murdoch. Parker did take the weight back and rode the second one to an extent, but there's just some signs here for me that a bit of snap has gone off Parker's shots, and Murdoch's just fancying his chances of walking through him a bit. Doesn't necessarily mean that Parker can't win rounds, but Murdoch's got some confidence here, certainly.
Yeah, he landed 2 good right hands, like a double right hand when Parker went southpaw, and now, he definitely seems to have settled a bit more here now, confidence-wise. Murdoch is boxing better here. Again, chopping a nice 1-2 down. Parker looking for the jab to the body, but he was a little bit slow pulling out. Murdoch was able to capitalise with a 1-2 to the head.
Parker just inching forward with that front foot. Just been beaten to the jab a bit at the moment. Just as I say, that fires off the jab. Good footwork there, just took the weight back, took himself out of range. Looking to the body there, right to the body from Parker. Murdoch just, every now and again when he gets the chance, he'll just try and rub the heads together a bit.
Yeah, another close, competitive round here, but I think Murdoch just a bit sharper, a little bit quicker to the punch as well.
1-2 from Parker, the right hand made a kind of glancing contact. He's busy, Murdoch. He has those gloves low, but there's plenty of movement, plenty of twitching, quite a wide stance, a solid base to punch from, looking for that right hand again.
Yeah, he's got fast hands too. His jab's nice quick jab when he shoots it from the hip there. His hands are low and he flicks it up. Kind of exchange left hooks there. Parker landed a good left hook, but Murdoch come back with one of his own.
just looking to back Parker up. Final stages of round 5. Against really good operators in Joseph Parker, Kubrat Pulev and Alexander Povetkin. We do need to see some more excitement, I think, from Fury, it's fair to say. And that's Matt Macklin's scorecard. So you gave Murdoch the 4th round. And I think you, looking at your card just down to my right-hand side, I think you did actually give him the 5th as well. So that would make it 3 rounds to 2. So it's an evenly poised fight at the moment. Scheduled for 12, of course.
Yeah, it's a competitive fight, it's a close fight. I don't think there's a lot in it. Parker started well. I think Murdoch certainly come right back into it.
One thing that could serve Parker well down the stretch, we're not there yet, is that he went the full 12 against Daryl Williams and in severe pain as well due to that dislocated shoulder. So he knows what it's like to grit it out, to bite down and get through it, to look for that kind of second wind. And he's just trying to manhandle Murdoch on the ropes a bit here. Found good range there to the body with the right hand, but Murdoch comes back, and this is turning into a tough, grueling fight, just leaning on there, Parker on the ropes, banging away to the body. And sneaks a right hand through as well.
Yeah, I think Parker probably feels he may have lost the last 2 rounds after building. You know, the first 3, he definitely had a lot of confidence. He had a bit of a spring in his step, and Murdoch was probably struggling a little bit. Again, close rounds, but I just felt, you know, Parker had the edge early on. And then since then, you know, Murdoch really landed some nice shots. I think when Parker was switching southpaw, Murdoch was nailing him with the right hands, and the last couple of rounds he's really grown into it. I think Parker probably feels now that he's got to try and get a bit more momentum back in his way, try and shift things back in his favour. And he's standing in the middle, trying to land those body shots.
Jab from Murdoch, who just puts his glove up to the corner of his right eye there. And there is a little bit of a mark just under the corner of that right eye. No cut, but you just immediately saw him feel for it. I think he was worried there might have been a bit of blood, but Parker has just put a little bit more on his punches in this round. I think you're right, Matt. I think he felt he needed to provide a response, and the left hand there from him was good.
Yeah, fight really heating up here. Murdoch firing back, double jab, right hand. Oh, good right hand there. And a good body shot.
Another good right hand, and those are 2 cracking shots, and he's stepping on Murdoch now and setting his feet here, Parker, and looking to let his hands go. Murdoch, though, is tucked up well there.
Yeah, good response from Parker, though. Right hands, no, sorry, left hand to the body, right hook to the head from the southpaw stance. Good round for Parker.
Big gulp of air from Murdoch there as he goes back to his corner, the red corner away to our right-hand side, and there's a little bit of a bump just above the left eye. It was the other eye that he was briefly concerned about. Chris Carden just whispering in his ear there. They've been together as trainer and fighter right from the very beginning.
Yeah, Parker, that was a really good response from him. I thought that short right hooks on the inside, the body shot, the left hand to the body, right hook combination, that was a good little flurry. Just seen it again, the body shot and then switching it upstairs with the right hook. Really good work from Parker. That was a good round from him and a good response. I felt that he'd lost the last two. I thought the 4th and 5th round, Murdoch won, but that was a good round for Parker.
Seconds out. Round 7.
Well, into the second half of the fight, Zach Parker in the white and green, he's at number 2 with the WBO. Rowan Murdoch in the black and white from Australia, he's at number 1. And whoever wins this should get the opportunity to fight for the WBO super middleweight title. So there's a lot on the line here.
Very much mirroring each other here. Left hands low, head movement, lots of, oh, good right hand from Parker. Just feinted the jab, left hook, right hand combination.
Well, it was a good one too, and it was delivered just as Murdoch was beginning to try and move in himself, and you could just see the head just snap back, but he kept coming. To be fair to the Australian, he could certainly take a shot. Good stiff jab though there from Parker.
Yeah, as I say, they're very much mirroring each other a little bit here. Both their left hand low, both head movements, slipping side to side, shooting the jab from the hip. You know, good jab there from Parker, but Murdoch came back with a good left hook to the body.
Parker southpaw now again, just manages to get through with that jab, and Murdoch is struggling to get inside it at the moment in this round. Lead left hook, he's switching stance more often now, Parker.
Yeah, he seems to be back on top here now, Parker, boxing well. Better, nice upper body movement too, slipping and sliding good here, and Murdoch seems to be feeling the pace here, breathing heavy.
Well, he thought he got him where he wanted him there, Murdoch, just briefly, but Parker managed to slip down the side road across the ropes and get away.
I like the way Parker shoots that jab from the hip, shoots it up, and every now and then he'll just feint the jab and turn into a left hook, landing a really good right hand there, Parker.
Well, a couple of right hands. One was a right hand lead almost, and the second one, again, just shot up from the hip, and he's catching Murdoch, and these are going to chip away at him. He can certainly take a shot, Rowan Murdoch. He's shown us that, but these will be having an effect, particularly as we head into the later rounds.
Yeah, I just think Parker's got more dimensions to him here. He's mixing things up. He's mixing the range up. He's shooting the jab from the hip. He can fight up close with those short shots. The lead right hands, when he feints the jab and he turns it into a left hook, I think there's more variety. He's less predictable here, Parker.
But Murdoch will keep coming. He showed us there. He will keep coming forward. And Parker just had those couple of rounds where just a little bit of snap went off the shots and Murdoch was able to get to him. So he's got to keep that sharpness up, Parker. If he lets it drop, Murdoch will keep walking forward, keep walking him down, and that's where he can get himself back into the fight. It's a good watch, this. They came with real ambition, the Australians.
Yeah, there's that right hand, lovely, bang on the chin. Credit to Murdoch, he took it well. But I thought that was a really good round from Parker. Boxed so well, mixed things up, went orthodox southpaw, was shooting the jab from the hip, lead right hand, sometimes he feint the jab, turn it into a left hook. I thought there was a lot of strings to his bow there, and he was mixing things up. There's that lead right hand that we were talking about, you know, and he also landed several lead left hooks as well, and he was jabbing to the head, he was jabbing to the body. A lot of good variety, a lot of good shot selection from Zach Parker. Boxed really well in that round.
Some clever boxing, wasn't it? Because you saw the 1-2, he just jabbed the glove, finding a distance, not really looking to land it, then launched the right hand. And that right hand lead it can be so effective because in a way it's a shot to nothing, isn't it? You throw it, moves straight onto the shoulder. If you miss, then there's not really much they can do, and he landed it perfectly.
Yeah, and I think it's so good as well because he's mixing, he's throwing a lot of left, he's using the left hand, he's shooting the jab, he's hooking up the jab, he's feinting with it. You know, it's quite left-sided, so every now and then he just goes with the lead right hand, and Murdoch isn't expecting it, so he was really effective with it in that round.
Murdoch trying to flick that jab up from the waist.
Yeah, I think Murdoch just needs to get back busy just to try and create something. He needs to get that jab going, needs to be feinting with the left hand, he needs to let his hands go. He can't just wait here and stand off Parker.
No, he has to keep that pressure up. When you get onto the front foot, that's something that judges can often find favour with. Looking for that jab, didn't quite reach. Parker looking for that right-hand lead again there, and as I say, just moving straight in behind it, so you can't really counter it. Didn't land it that time. Swapping jabs. Murdoch just dipping the knees and getting under the left hand, then throws left hook, which made a kind of dabbing contact with Parker.
Nice combination there from Parker. Right hand, left hook, right hand, 3 shots, straight down the middle.
All off the back of a good stiff jab. Uppercut didn't miss by far there, Murdoch. Again, just takes in a bit of air and continues to try and come forward.
Again, looking for that left hook, right hand combination down the middle, but Murdoch seen it coming and just took that little step out of distance. Again, nice little head movement there from Murdoch, making Parker miss.
Left-hander getting there from Parker, and Murdoch has taken all of these absolutely fine. He's never looked in any trouble. He's never really looked hurt, but he's just getting significantly outlanded at the moment.
Murdoch looking for the right hand over the top of the jab of Parker, but Parker seen it coming and just rode the shot, deep behind the shoulder.
Jab not quite reaching. They've both got quite wide stances, so their front foot is always near the other, which probably makes you think that the other guy's always in range when they're not quite. It's an interesting fight. For a spell with Freddie Roach at the wild card. This has been, for the most part, a happy hunting ground for him, the Manchester Arena, but of course there was that fight with Carl Frampton. Huge fight, tremendous build-up. We were talking to Carl about it yesterday, and that did not go Scott Quiggs' way.
Yeah, I wonder, is Murdoch going to be more aggressive here now? I've got him falling behind on my card, 6 rounds to 2, and we've got 4 rounds to go here, and Parker just looks confident. I think Murdoch's going to have to try and change things a bit here.
It was a good body shot there from Murdoch, and he just dropped his elbows on it there, Parker.
Yeah,
I think he took it okay.
Yeah, good body shot. He landed a good, hard, straight right hand too. I think he has to really up things here, Murdoch. I think if he stays just swapping jabs and giving Parker room, he's going to come off second best. Parker shooting the jab, lovely from the hip, feinting, mixing things up. He throws those lead left hooks, he lead right hands as well. He's controlled things for most of the fight, really. So I think Murdoch now really has to try and force the issue here and try and step it up here.
Looking for the 1-2 there, Murdoch, and I think that's what the corner will have told him. They're an experienced team, and they know that they're away from home. And they'll be able to read a fight and know that some of these rounds are close, but that if he wants to win this, he's going to have to really go out and get it in the last 4 rounds. It's a good jab. Murdoch and again.
Yeah, nice sharp, fast jab, shooting it up from the hip, and definitely more urgency now from Murdoch. I think he should be trying to counter that jab. There's a nice jab from Murdoch, but I think he should be looking to, when he flicks that jab out, and I think he's trying to set the right hand up. When the jab comes back from Parker, he's going to look to try and counter over the top.
Looking for a big right hand there, Murdoch didn't land it. Parker got inside and landed a left hand to the body.
Yeah, the right hand down the middle when he goes southpaw. Good jab there from Murdoch.
There's been a good pace to this fight. Murdoch every now and again looks like he might be tiring a bit because the mouth just hangs open, but I think that's kind of a nervous tick more than anything else. He just can't seem to help doing it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with his engine.
No, good jab there from Parker, but you know, it's been a much better round from Murdoch. He needed a good round, and he's come out and given us one.
Okay, let's go backstage. Johnny Ellis-Peterson caught up with John O'Carroll earlier on.
Jono, after a fiery build-up, the time for talking is nearly over. How are you feeling?
I feel great, always confident as ever. I felt nice and relaxed. Just another day in the office for me, pal.
Do you feel like this is your time?
I always feel like this is my time. Do you know what? I've been working for a long time, and all the hard work, dedication, it's all paying off. So tonight is to put a stamp on that and look good doing it.
Many calling this a fight of the year contender without a punch being thrown. Have you prepared for a war?
I always prepare for the war, no matter what. Whether it has to be a technical fight, good luck with that. Whether it has to be a technical fight or whether it has to be a war, it doesn't matter. As long as I get the win, get the W, that's all that matters.
Best of luck tonight.
Thank you, I appreciate your time.
Interesting stuff at the weigh-in yesterday, of course. Carroll just taking the opportunity to get up in Scott Quigg's face a bit, and it does promise to be a good fight. Main event scheduled for 12 at super featherweight, but we've got 3 left here in this 12-rounder between Zach Parker in the white and green and Rowan Murdoch in the black and white. It's number 1 against number 2 in the WBO rankings. And it's been a good fight, and make you right in that last round. Matt Murdoch dug in, he was busier, he worked that little bit harder, didn't wait quite so long, and probably won the round, and he needed to.
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, the last few rounds before that, Parker had won. He was a bit slicker, he had better variety, he was putting more combinations together, body shots as well. But in that round, there was more urgency from Murdoch. He was prepared to take more chances. He was busy with the jab, and he had a good round. There was a nice right hand there from Parker, but, you know, Parker, on my card anyway, is certainly ahead here. Good body shot there from Parker. That was a really good left hand to the body, looping it underneath from the southpaw stance. Again, looking for that left uppercut to the body from the southpaw stance. I'd see him bring the right hook over the top as well after that.
Just stepping out with that lead foot and finding himself a little bit of room, and he did it again there, goes up top that time. Yeah,
nice jab there as well. I think switching southpaw here, just changing things around maybe. He's giving Murdoch a different look. Murdoch felt maybe he'd solved a bit of a puzzle in the last round, and now Parker goes out here, gives him another look, gives him a different look, and becomes unpredictable. 2 good body shots. Made that, like the way he just stepped across there, created the angle, and threw the 2 hard body shots into the body of Murdoch. Again, trying to get to the angle, and he's trying to throw that left uppercut into the pit of the stomach and bring the right hook upstairs after.
Slight grimace there from Murdoch, and Parker has just lifted his work rate, his punch output in this round.
Yeah, this is good from Parker, really concentrating on the body here, really effective here from the southpaw stance. Again, 2 hard body shots going in, and then finish upstairs with that right hook to the head. Good work here again from Parker.
Murdoch looks to pitch back in with the right hand, but he is breathing quite heavily now, Murdoch.
This has been a great response from Parker. Murdoch had a good round, but Parker here really
2 big right hands as Murdoch just tucked up on the ropes there. Parker again just takes that step to try and find a different angle, and Murdoch just looking to time up a little bit if he can, but Parker's finding some room.
Yeah, and this is heartbreaking here for Murdoch, who just should come out in the last round, put a lot into it, won the round, and then Parker just responds with this, and
he's hitting with plenty in this round, and Murdoch, I think, is feeling these, and I think he'll be quite glad to hear the bell at the end of the round. And Parker too, though, to be honest, leans on, and they both just agree, really, for the first time in the fight, just to have a bit of a truce and take a rest. Just rubbing the left-hand side of his ribcage there with his glove, Murdoch, as he went back to the corner. He just taps it with the glove as if to indicate to the corner maybe that there has been some damage done there.
You're not doing nothing. 2 rounds to go, Ram.
Right. You need to keep this shit long. Yes, keep it long.
Apologies if you intercepted a word there from Chris Carden, but they're giving that man their instructions, because they know that these last 2 rounds are absolutely critical, that he's got to win these last couple of rounds, because that was a very good round for Parker.
That was a really good round, a great response. Murdoch, I thought, won the round before that, and Parker come, you know, you wonder, is it going to be a little shift? But Parker came back, great response, big 10th round from him, and coming into the championship distance rounds here now.
Round 11.
Well, interesting that at the start of the fight, their plan really was to get this up close and make it personal, really get into that kind of range. And then you heard Chris Carden there saying, with 2 rounds to go, you've got to keep this long. So it's a kind of change of tack. There's been absolutely nothing wrong at all with the application, the desire here of Murdoch, and he obviously does have ability too. But Parker, of the 2, has more ability, is just the better all-round boxer. Murdoch was able to take rounds off him so far when he's outworked him and out-hustled him, really.
Yeah, exactly, and Murdoch was trying to out-hustle Parker and stick the forearm in and the shoulder in and rough him up. And there were rounds when he was jabbing really well and he landed some. When I think earlier on when Parker was switching southpaw, the right hands of Murdoch were kept landing, they were catching, they were snapping his head back. He was even doubling up on the right hands. But, you know, since then, Parker's really had the better of the action. I've got him, you know, quite a bit ahead now. And as the last round in particular was a strong round from him. And it was a great response from the previous round where Murdoch had probably felt like he was getting back into it, but you know, Parker having switched southpaw now. Oh, good left hand there from Parker. The left hand's to the body, the right hook's to the body. He's looping those left uppercuts into the pit of the stomach, finishing upstairs with the right hook. He's really got on top here, I feel.
Well, that left hand from Parker, well delivered, just clattered into the forehead of Murdoch. You saw the sweat spray, but he just shook it off and kept coming forward. Good counter right hand there from Murdoch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Parker goes with a good straight left to the body, and then, you know, Murdoch fires a straight right hand back. And at times the fight's been like that. You know, it's one guy will come back with a good shot, and then the other guy comes firing back with two better ones. It's been a really entertaining boxing match here. It hasn't been a war of attrition, but it's been clever, it's been quality, there's been thinking, there's been lots of feinting. The other guy trying to get the other one into a position, trying to set traps, and a real thinking man's fight here.
So into the final minute of round 12, there's that lead right hook there from Parker. He's picked his shots at times very nicely.
Yeah, it's just been that little bit cleverer, that little bit sharper, with a bit more variety, less predictable, and he's just been, for me, a step ahead of Murdoch, who's put a lot into it, tried a lot. He's been done some really good stuff at times, but I just think that Parker's been that little bit cuter, and he's got a bit more variety and a bit more quality. And even up close here now, really putting the shots together. Good left hook there and a right hook.
Big right hand there from Parker, then collects him with a left too, and the right goes straight down the middle, and that's a huge left hand from Parker. And Murdoch on his back, 10 seconds left on the round. He got back to his feet quickly, but Edwards is having a really good look at him, tells him to walk forward, and then waves it over. Right at the end of the round, the referee, as I said, is looking right into the eyes there. There's no real complaint from the Murdoch corner. His trainer, Chris Carden, just going to the middle of the ring to collect his fighter. And I was wondering whether that was a bit hasty, but as I watch him walk to the corner, that was 100% the right thing to do.
That was exactly 100% spot on from the referee. He looked into the eyes of Murdoch, and he was not there. He was lazy. He wasn't steady on his legs. And that was an absolutely brilliant performance from Parker. I was just saying how he'd been a step ahead of Murdoch for most of the fight. Murdoch had his moments and he put a lot into it, but Parker was that bit cuter, that step ahead. He had more looks to him, a bit more dimensions. He was able to change things up. Up close, he was landing combinations, and you could see he was starting actually to chip away and even break Murdoch down a little bit. I didn't think he was going to get the knockout. I thought maybe Murdoch was going to see it through and lose on points, and I had him, Parker, quite a comfortable lead at that stage. But actually that final there, he landed those hard shots and he found the energy to put the combinations together and scored a really, went down heavy, did Murdoch. And when he got up, he wasn't steady on his legs. His eyes were very glassy, and the referee was right to call it off.
Well, it was just so accurate, this, wasn't it? He hits him with a number of punches and the legs just start to go there, and he's trying his best to stay out of danger and cover up.
Yeah, and I really like the way he was going head and body as well, Parker. When he was in the southpaw stance, he was going the left hook to the body, right hand upstairs, but you could see he was finding the room there. Short hooks and even long hooks, both hands, head and body. Really impressive, really to box a real clever fight, changing looks, never becoming one-dimensional, and he had great support here as well. Fantastic atmosphere during that fight, a really absorbing contest. Both men playing their part, but Parker with that extra quality and also that bit of firepower at the end.
And on a big stage as well, with a lot at stake, it's the kind of fight that he can really grow from, because when he just let that work rate drop a fraction, Murdoch was on him and was winning rounds. He couldn't afford to relax or lose his concentration, and he realised that after rounds 4 and 5 that probably didn't go his way, and he just got that bit of snap back, and he'll come on a lot from this.
Yeah, definitely. And you could see that Parker could feel Murdoch weaken there as well. It stiffened him with that lead backhand, legs dipped a little bit, and it was the way he was kind of smelt that instinct of a fighter to see and sense that his opponent was weakening and dwindling, and that the fight had gone out of him. Really put his foot to the floor, went through the gears, great repertoire, body and head, and got, you know, brutal knockdown. He got up, but the referee was spot on to wave the fight off.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get a nice round of applause out here for both of these fighters, please. Referee Phil Edwards calls a halt to this contest. The official time of the stoppage, 2 minutes and 58 seconds of round number 11. Your winner by RSC. He's still undefeated and the new WBO International Super Middleweight Champion, Zach Parker.
So a big win there for Parker, by far the biggest of his career. And as I say, I'm sure he will really grow and learn from that fight here at the Manchester Arena. Elsewhere, coming up this week,